Hello everybody, this is Christina from craftmuse, and today our tutorial is going to be for the Zero Tsum Tsum. So this is what he will look like here when you're finished with him. And he is pretty simple to make, not very many colors in him. I use just white, the silk red color here, and then his body underneath his little ghostly cape here is also white, so that I didn't have to use too much clear, which I did use clear for this part here, but you could also use white as well if you don't have clear. And then a little bit of orange here, and then of course I've got the 2 pony beads for his eyes, and he has no legs, so he's very easy to make. So you will need white, orange, red, and then clear if you're going to be using clear for this part. I will have a band count in the description box below of the video if you want to check that out before you start. So this is all on our hook except for the ears. I decided to make on the loom. You only need 1 loom to make the ears. I decided to make them on the loom just because I like how they're a little bit more sturdy than if you were to Loomigurumi them, and they kind of curl, I guess, over, which I kind of liked how that looked. So the only difference for my Zero is I will be placing the ears a little bit up higher instead of like further apart like this one. But you will need 1 loom to make the ears. Other than that, the rest is on the hook, of course. And then you'll also need some polyfill and your crochet or rainbow loom hook and a C-clip. For the eyes, if you don't have the pony beads, you can use wrap bands. Wrap bands work well, or you can use safety eyes. So let's get started on this little cutie. I decided to do him now because it is almost Halloween, and these ones are kind of more like a Halloween theme Tsum Tsum. So we will also be making Jack to go along with him as well. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing, let's just get the whole looming out of the way. So we'll do the ears first. I'll do one with you, and then you guys can pause the video and make the second ear. So this is how I have my loom set up. They're just all lined up with one another. So I'm going to try to loom sideways so that you can see the whole loom in the picture. I usually loom like this, but yeah, I'll try to do it this way for your guys' sake. So you'll just need white here. Grab your white. So the first band that we want to lay, we're going to be using a single band. We're going to be laying it this pin to that pin, and the same thing right next to it. So just a single band. Next we're going to start double looping. So all of this from now on is going to all be double looped. So we're just going to take our band, double loop it, and place it on the pin. Do the same exact thing right next to that one. And we're going to go from this pin diagonal to this pin here. Just like that. So now on this side, we're going to go all the way down to the bottom with double looped bands. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I laid down 9 bands going down. Next we're going to do the center one. So just go down. I believe they leave 1 empty at the bottom. Feels awkward using my loom right now because I haven't used it in so long on a tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to go one more. So I have this peg down here. I left that one alone. Next, we're going to go down this row here. And we're going to be leaving 2 pegs empty. And again, just all double looped bands. I'm using the Rainbow Loom glow bands for this one because I want him to glow in the dark. Okay, I'm going to put one more band. So this peg and this peg are left alone. So then it should be able to go diagonally down, which is what we're going to do. We're going to take our next band and go from this peg diagonal down to this peg here. Just like that. And then from this peg diagonal down to that peg. Push your bands down because we still have to add our holding bands. First, let's cap this one off. So I'm just going to wrap it around 4 times. Okay. Now let's add our holding bands. So these are all going to be, wait, were they all double looped? Yes, they were all double looped. So I'm going to double loop, and my first holding band is going to go from this peg to this peg here. Next one, same thing right below these 2 pegs here. These next ones all the way down to here will be all the way across all 3 loops. I mean, all 3 pegs. All double looped. So when you're looming this, just be careful, because you don't want your bands to break, otherwise you're going to have to start it over. Well, not all the way over, but you're going to have to fix your bands if they break. And then these last 2 here, I'm also going to put a holding band on. Just like that. So this is what you should have here. I'll give you kind of a view like this. So now we want to loom this. Now what I suggest when we make the second ear, is to do this the opposite way. So you would want to start over here with these 2 pegs and then go down towards this way. The reason why I suggest that is because yes, you can just make the same ear and flip it around, but when you take it off the loom, it automatically curls in like this. So if you make it the opposite way, the other ear is also going to curl under like this. But if you were to use this same pattern for the second ear, the ear would curl up like this. So that's why I suggest that you just place your bands the opposite way. So let me give you like a lengthwise view of this one more time, so that when you pause your video to make your second ear, you'll know just to reverse this pattern. So you want it to be symmetrical. Okay, so let's start looming. We're going to go in through our capping band and grab that top band, which is going to go diagonal. Just make sure you grab just those bands. And then you're going to go in the capping band again and grab the bottom bands and bring them up. Now I'm just going to loom up this row here. Please forgive me if I'm slow. It has been a while. Okay, so I'm at the top one there. I'm gonna just loom over here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and come back down here, grab the top 2 bands, which are gonna go diagonal to the left, And then I can just continue looming up the center, and then I'll do the other side. Okay. Going back down, just gonna loom this up here. Come on. Alright, so that's it. Now you're just gonna grab this bottom band. So you've got your 2 loops here. You're just going to go in through the center and grab the bottom one and take it off the peg so that this is just making a slip knot, and I'm going to pull that, and then I'm going to do the other side. So just grabbing the bottom band through, taking that one off the hook, and then just pulling it tight, and that will just, these bands here will be the bands that we tie onto the head with. And then you can just pop this off your loom. Just be careful when you're doing that because they are a little bit tight. So a lot of this video is going to be like a lot of repetitive things, so it probably should be a shorter video compared to some of my other ones. So there you've got your ear, and like I said, it already curves over like that, which is nice because that's how I wanted it to be. So that's why I suggest you make the ear symmetrical to this one, because say you make the same exact ear and you flip it around, it's going to be flipping up like this. So go ahead and pause the video and make your second ear, and then we will get started on the nose for 0. Just in case for those of you who might not know what I mean by doing it symmetrical, this is how it is. I'm just making my second ear, so I have just set it up this way. So you can use this for reference if you're having problems setting up your loom to make the ear opposite. So I'll just, if you just want to pause the video like this, and then you can kind of get an idea of how to set it up. Alright, so next thing we want to do, now that we have our 2 ears made, is the nose. So for the nose we will be starting with orange, or whatever color you will be making the tip of the nose. So just this little area right here. And that part will be row 1, and that's just going to be a magic ring with 6 stitches in it. So grab your band and wrap it around your hook 2 times so that you have 3 loops on your hook. Grab another band and pull that capping band onto the other band and slide it towards the center. Then push this band down onto your hook and put the other end on. Now you're going to slide this first band here through this one here as if you are creating a slip knot, but you're not going to tie it tight. Next you're going to stick your hook through that capping band, so you want to make sure that you're going through all 3 loops there. So you've got this capping band here and this band over here. you're going to grab your second band, so this will be your second stitch, and you're going to bring it through this capping band only. So leave this band alone. Usually I just kind of hold it with my finger, slide it through your capping band, and then bring the other end up onto your hook. So now you have 3. Next, you're going to slide this band through these 2 here. Just like that. Again, we will be doing stitch 3 now. So band through the cap band only, up onto your hook, and slide under. Through the cap band again. This will be number 4. Through the cap band. This will be 5. Through the cap band, and this will be our last one here. And 6. So that is our magic ring. Now you can just kind of adjust it a little bit so it's a little bit more circular in shape. And you just want to make sure that you have put in your 6 stitches. So just count these little V's on the sides. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the band that's on your hook is 6. Now if you're using a stitch marker, which I highly suggest you do, I'm using a C-clip. I'm just going to place it on the band that is on my hook. So our next row around here for row 2, we're switching to white now. And what we want to do is single crochet in the back loops only. So here's your magic ring here. You see that you have each stitch is made up of 2 loops. So we have the loop here in the front, and we have the loop here in the back. So these loops in the back, we're only going to be crocheting in. We're going to leave these ones here alone. So these front ones, we're not going to touch. Normally when you do a crochet, you would stick your hook through the entire stitch. But for this row here, we are just going to be picking up that loop in the back. Okay, so pick up the first back loop, grab your white, and we need to do a color change here. So I'm going to take my white through this loop here and through this loop here. So through both loops, bring the other end up onto my hook, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I'm just going to tie it into like a really loose slip knot, and that just gives us a cleaner color change. So next I'm going to go to my next stitch here, just the back loop. Leave that front loop alone. I'm going to grab another white band, bring it through the first loop only, up onto my hook, and then slide this first band through these 2 here. Whoops. Same thing for my third stitch, through the back loop only. Grab another white, bring it through that first loop only, up onto your hook, and slide under. Whoops. I'm trying to watch myself through my camera. Just trying to make sure it doesn't go like out of focus too much. Next I'm going to go through my next back loop only. Grab another band, bring it through that loop only, up onto my hook, and slide under. Here's my 5th stitch, so I'm going through that back loop only, band through the first loop, up onto my hook, and slide. I'm going to take my C-clip off because it's in the way. I'm going to go through the back loop only of this last stitch here. Bring my band through that loop only, up onto my hook, and slide under. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Which is also made up of 6 stitches. So if you want to count those stitches, they're going to be kind of like weird looking, like it's not going to be a perfect round because we did the back loop only in these stitches. So this very first stitch I have here, the one that's kind of laying flat on the orange, is I'm going to be skipping that in this next round that I do because this is just from the color change that we did. So the first actual stitch is actually going to be right here. So you have one that's laying flat on the orange, and then you're going to go to the next white that's kind of up in the air. So that will be number 1, this is number 2, this is 3, 4, 5, and then I have the band that's on my hook, which is number 6. So you can go ahead and place your C-clip in that band that's on your hook. Why do I feel like this is... Oh, okay. I had it flipped around the wrong way. So it's like that. Still, that very first stitch there you're going to skip because that's from the slip stitch. So the next row around here, we are on row 3. We are going to be doing a single crochet and then an increase, and we will repeat that pattern all the way around so that we end up with 9 stitches. So again, I'm skipping that first white stitch there. I'm going to go in the next white over here, and this is going to be a single crochet. So, oh, my camera. So I'm going to grab my white band, bring it through the stitch only, up onto my hook, and slide under. So that is a single crochet. My next stitch here is going to be an increase. So an increase is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So let me do my first single crochet. So through the stitch only, up onto my hook, slide under. I'm going to go back into that same stitch and do another single crochet. My next stitch is going to be a single crochet. Next stitch is going to be an increase. So there's 1, go back in. There's 2. Next stitch is going to be a single crochet. So there's 1. And then my last stitch here with my C-clip in it is going to be an increase. So there's 1 and 2. You should now have a total of 9 stitches in your round. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the band that's on my hook is 9. Stick your C-clip in. And now we will be doing our 4th round, which is going to be single crochet, followed by an increase. And then we should end up with 12 stitches. So my first stitch here will be a single. Second stitch is going to be a single. And my third stitch here is going to be an increase. So there's 1, go back in, and 2. Now I'm going back to my single crochets. So there's 1, go into my next stitch and do another single crochet. And then my next stitch will be an increase. Next stitch will be a single crochet. Next stitch will be a single crochet. And then my last stitch here is going to be an increase. There's 1 and 2. Now what you want to do is just go into the next stitch over, grab a band, and bring it all the way through all the loops on your hook. Bring that band up onto your hook and then tie it into a slip knot. And then you can make sure you're kind of pushing this orange part out. And then to make the nose a little bit more round, I just wrapped some orange bands around it. So just to make it kind of like it's sticking out more. So I'm just kind of trying to wrap in the orange part. And that will just push that capping band from your magic ring out. I'm going to do one more. Not that it really makes a difference, but there it is. So there's our little nose, and we will be attaching this later to his face. So let's get started on the face. Alright, so before we get started on the face, let's put our eyes on the bands, just in case you haven't done that already. So of course our eyes are going on white bands. And if you're doing bands for the eyes, just make a cap band and slide it onto a white band. So just like that, and then just have them available, because we will be putting them on in the third row. So we're going to be starting off with our magic ring, of course. So wrap your band around your hook twice and make your magic ring. So there's one. Two. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So just check and make sure that you put your 6 stitches in. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Grab your C-clip and place it in the band that's on your hook. Next row around, for row 2, we are doing an increase in each stitch around so that we end up with 12 stitches. So again, increase is 2 single crochets in each stitch. So here's my first one. I'm going to put in my first single. So there's one. Go back in your first stitch and do another single crochet. Second stitch is your increase. So there's one. Go back in, and 2. Third stitch, your increase again, so there's 1, go back in, 2. Fourth stitch, increase again, 1 and 2. Here's my 5th stitch here. I'm doing an increase. So there's 1, 2, and then my last stitch here, same thing, increase, 1, 2. So now what you should have is a circle with 12 stitches in it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Place your C-clip on the band that's on your hook. Okay, so for this next row around, row 3, we are doing a single crochet followed by an increase, and we're going to repeat this pattern around so that we end up with 18 stitches, and our eyes are going to be going in stitches 3 and 9. So if you are using the pony beads and the wrap bands, just do what I do. And if you're using safety eyes, then you can go ahead and add your eyes to the face when we add our nose. So you would skip this part where we add the eyes and just use a regular band instead. So our first stitch is going to be a single crochet. Second stitch is going to be an increase. So there's one single crochet, go back in, and there's two. Third stitch is going to be a single crochet, and we will be adding our eye here. So grab your eye, put one end of the band onto your hook, bring it through the stitch, up onto your hook, and slide under. Fourth stitch is going to be an increase. So there's one, two. Fifth is going to be a single. Six will be an increase. So there's one. Whoops. And two. 7 is a single. It's one. 8 is an increase. It's one and 2. 9 is a single, and where we add our eye. So one end of your band, bring it through your stitch, band up onto your hook, and slide under. Stitch 10 will be an increase. So there's one, and 2. 11 will be a single, and stitch 12 will be an increase. I mean 18. Wait, what am I doing here? Yeah, stitch 12 will be an increase. I thought we were on 24 already. Okay, so here's what you should have now, and we should have 18 stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3. Your fourth stitch is going to be a little bit smaller. So make sure you're counting that, and make sure you add that into your round when you do your next round. Don't skip that little stitch there. There's 4, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13th stitch might be a little bit smaller too. 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Grab your C-clip and put it in the band that's on your hook. Now we want to increase to 24 stitches. So we are on row 4 now. We will be doing a single crochet, followed by an increase, and we should end up with 24 stitches. So our first stitch will be a single. Second stitch will be a single. Our third stitch will be an increase. Fourth stitch, that little tiny one, will be a single. Fifth will be a single. And sixth will be an increase. 7 is a single, 8, single, 9 is an increase. 10 is a single, 11, single, and 12 is an increase. 13 is a smaller one, so don't forget that. It's a single. 14 is a single. 15 is an increase. 16 single, 17 single, and 18 is an increase. Put your C-clip on that band that's on your hook. You will now have 24 stitches around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So here's where things are going to get a little bit repetitive. We are going to be doing 5 rounds of single crochets in the 24 stitches. So for rows 5 through 9, you're just going to single crochet around, and we're going to make sure that we keep count while we do that so we don't lose track of how many rounds we have done. So I will do the first round with you, and then you will do the remaining 4. You can pause the video and do the remaining 4 rounds. So again, these are just going to be single crochets, so super simple. Just go around in your stitches. He's a very basic Tsum Tsum, but I think he still came out really cute. Okay, last stitch here. Put your C-clip on the band that's on your hook. And I'm going to mark that off over here just to show that I've done 1 row. And then I need to do 4 more rows. So if you want to pause the video and do your 4 more rows of just the single crochets around, and then I will meet you back here when we're finished, and we will start putting on the nose and the ears when we come back. Okay, my rows around are complete, so I left off here, and I'm gonna go into this stitch right here and grab a band and just tie it off for now while I work on the nose and the ears. So I'm just gonna tie this into a slip knot and then flip it over. I just pushed his eyes in. The top of my head, I'm making sure that I have my tying off band on the right side. This is going to be the top of my head instead of over here with the tying off band on the left side. Not that it really makes a huge difference anyways, but I kind of want my eyes a little bit lower, so if you flip it with your tying off band this way, your eyes will sit a little bit higher. And if you do it this way, it will be a little bit lower, like not by much at all, but It really doesn't matter because we're not adding legs to it, arms and legs, so you guys can do whatever way you prefer. So I'm just doing it this way. Let's add our nose first, and we're just going to stitch it on. So we have this tying off band here, and how I'm going to place it on my face is with my tying off band over here. I'm going to just kind of find where I want it to go, and my tying off band is right by my right eye. So that's how I want my nose to sit, because for this one my nose is curving upward if I put it on this way, which is what I kind of want, so that's why I'm making sure my tying off band is right by my right eye. But first we need to add some tying off bands to this one because we need to make this length longer. So if you just place this on your hook and then grab a band and bring it through up onto your hook and then slip knot that, and then keep doing that until you get a good length that you know it will go around through all the stitches. So right now I have one, two, three that I put on. I'm gonna do 6 just to be safe. Actually, this is probably good, but I'll just do one more. And then we just place it on, and I'm kind of making sure that the top of the nose up here is in between the eyes because I want it to sit level with the eyes, sort of, a little bit lower. But I don't want to put my nose down here because I don't really like how it looks, so I kind of want it to sit up here. It will be your preference to where you want to add the nose though, so just make sure that you've got it lined up the way you want it before you start stitching it on. And you're going to have to keep checking it to make sure that it's in the right spot. So the first thing you want to do after you've got it positioned the way you want it, you're going to go through the inside of your face, and you need to come out of a stitch that is right near this tying off band here. So I'm going to be coming out this stitch here, and then I'm just going to pull this tying off band through to the inside of the face. Usually I try to grab the end of the tying off band, but it's so long, so. Sorry, I'm just making sure it's in a good spot still. Okay, so now that our tying off band is on the inside of the head, we're going to be going in the next stitch over. So go through that stitch of the nose and then go through a stitch in the face and bring that tying off band through. Okay, now we're going to be doing what we first did by going through the face. Now we're going through a stitch in the nose as well, and we're going to bring that tying off band down into the face. Try not to pull this too tight because it will kind of alter the shape of the nose if you do that. Just want it to be tight enough so that it's holding on to the face well enough. So next we're going to go through a stitch in the nose and then a stitch in the face. Sorry, my nose is running because I just ate like a super spicy piece of beef jerky. and it's making my nose run. I'm sure you guys will want to listen to that sniffling. Okay. Just take your time when you're doing this because you don't want it to end up off center. And this is the hardest part of Zero today, of this one. I know this is your guys' favorite part. Attaching. Sorry if I'm going too slow for you guys. You can always fast forward this. Oops. Ugh. Come on, you. Okay, which one did I leave off on? Okay. I'm almost done. One more. You always want to make sure you end with the tying off band on the inside of the face, if that wasn't obvious. Okie dokie. I have his nose attached. So now what you can do with this tying off band here is just go on the inside of the face and tie it into a knot. So I'm just going to use like some of the tying off band over here and bring it through, and then just tie that into a knot. If you have too much excess tying off band, you can take off Like I'm just going to take off this one here because I don't need that in there. Just like that. Okay, so our nose is now attached. And we need to add our ears, which is very simple. So grab your ears and just make sure that they are curving over. You don't want them flipped out like this. Well, I guess, I mean, if you want to, but then he'll look like a bunny. So make sure they're curving down. And place them wherever you like. Like I said, I'm going to be putting my ears a little bit closer to each other. So here's where my first one, I kind of put him more like on the side of his head. Today I'm going to put him more towards the top. And you will just bring through each tying off band towards the inside of the face. Before you tie it off, make sure you like how it looks. I don't know, I think I might want to add it a little bit higher. And then once you find your spot, just tie it in a knot on the inside. And for some reason, if you don't like how it looks, you can easily just untie the knot and redo it. It's that simple. Oh, I put this one too far back. I'm going to fix that off camera so you guys don't have to sit through that real quick. Okay, finally, 20 minutes later, I got my ears on. It didn't take that long, but it felt like it. So that's it. That's it for the face. Let's continue on with the body. So we are now going to be doing row 10. And this row here is going to be in red. So let's take out that tying off band that we had in there, if you had one. Grab the end of where we last left off and place your C-clip in. So this is just going to be single crochets around in the 24 stitches. Let me get my red out. Just using regular opaque red today. So, like I said, just single crochets around, but we do need to do our one color change here. So bring your red through all the loops on your hook. Put the other end up on and tie it like you're going to tie a slip knot, but keep it nice and loose. And then we're just going to continue around with our single crochets. Now if you'd like a thicker collar, you could do one more row of red instead of switching back to the white in this next row. After this, you could just do another row of red if you like. My card is sliding around. Sometimes I don't like watch my videos back, like the whole entire thing, when I'm uploading, but I do check to make sure I have all the videos in order, because I usually have about 5 or 6 separate videos for each tutorial, and just in the little bit that I do watch, I realize that I say "so" a lot. So many times I say "so," and I'm really trying hard not to say it so much, and and things like that, but it's just really hard, especially for the "so." I mean, I can work on the but the "so" is just, I don't know, it just feels like it's necessary to be in my vocabulary. So, I'm sorry if you guys hear me say "so" a lot, and it probably is annoying. Or maybe you didn't even notice, and now you're going to notice every time I say that, like a billion times. Whoops. There they go. These reds seem like they're very thin. Okay, here's my last stitch for red. I'm just gonna keep a thin collar. Alright, so we are now switching back to white. Unless you want to do one more row around of red, feel free to do that. If you want to do the rest of the body in red, you can do that as well. But for rows 11 through 15, which is 5 rounds, we are going to just be doing single crochets around. And I am going to do the first one with you, and then you can pause the video and do the remaining 4. So just like we did with the face, when we were working on that, we're going to be doing the same thing. So let's switch back to white if you are. And we are going to be skipping this first red stitch here, because that is from the slip stitch that we did. So go ahead and stick your hook back into that next red over, and grab your white, and you're going to bring it through all the loops on your hook and do your slip stitch, and then just continue. I keep moving this card, and then just continue around with your single crochets. Lots of white here, and I apologize that I do not have a different color background to use. I need to get a new one. I need to get a new white one too. I get dirty really easily, or look, I don't know, I can get bent easily too. They're kind of expensive, like $6 for cardboard. That's what I use for my backgrounds. I use those thick, well, I don't know if they're like cardboard with the foam in the middle or something like that. Michael sells them for $6 each, which is kind of expensive for a piece of white cardboard. Oh, that one is stretched out. I don't want that. Okay, so here's my last one here. There goes my card again. Okay, so I'm going to mark off that I did 1 round and I need to do 4 more rounds. So go ahead and pause the video and continue on with your 4 rows around in the white, and I will meet you back here when you're finished with that, and we can start decreasing and close him up and then do his little ghostly capey thingy. Okay. And 4 additional rounds are finished, and we are now on to row 16. So for row 16 we need to start decreasing. We are going to be doing a single crochet followed by a decrease so that we end up with 18 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my first single crochet here. Focus. There's come on. Just 1. Going on to my next stitch, I'm going to do my single. Okay, now I need to do a decrease. Basically, I'm just stitching up these next 2 stitches up together, and we need to pick up the front loop only of each stitch. So I'm not going to go through the entire stitch like we've been doing. I'm going to go in between so that I just have the front loop on. And then in between the next one, grab a band and bring it through the first 2 loops only, up onto my hook, and then slide under. Now I'm going back to my single crochets. So there's 1, and here's 2. And then I need to do another decrease. So pick up the front loop only and the front loop only. Grab your band, bring it through the first 2 loops only, up onto your hook, and slide under. Back to the single crochets. So there's 1, and 2, and then a decrease. 1 and 2. I hate how my phone keeps on going out of focus. Okay, now we're going back to single crochets. So we have 1, 2, and then a decrease. Single crochets again. 1, 2, and a decrease. Single crochet, single crochet, and then I will end with a decrease. So we just went from 24 stitches to 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Go ahead and place your C-clip in that stitch, in that band that's on your hook. And we need to do another row around with decreases. So our row 17 is going to be a single crochet followed by a decrease so that we end up with 12 stitches. Start with my single crochet here, and then I'm going to do a decrease. A single crochet, there goes all my hard work. And a decrease. Single, decrease, single, decrease, single, decrease, single, and then end with a decrease. Okay, let's stuff this little guy up. So I'm just going to slide that down on my hook a little bit and grab my stuffing. And just start filling him up. Since he's white, you can get away with using a little more. Just make sure it's not stretching the bands out. Make him nice and fluffy. Okay. Now, let's do our final round. And for this round, we will just be doing decreases all the way around. We want to do a total of 6 decreases so that we end up with 6 stitches. No single crochets, just decreases all the way around. So there's 1. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. And 1 more. Now you should have 6 stitches left in this little gap here. So we need to close that up. I'm going to just add another band to this band here that I have on my hook. So I'm just going to slide this band through this band here and then tie it into a slip knot. So I'm just lengthening the band that I have now. And now what I'm going to do is just bring it through these loops that I have left in this gap. So I've got, you should have 6, but normally if you just bring this through 5, you should be okay. I'm going to go through the first one, and I just go through the top loop. You don't have to go through the entire stitch. And I'm going to bring that through, go through the next top loop, and bring that through, and do that all the way around with as many as you can find. And once you have done that, you can just push your thumb down and pull this, and that will close the gap up. Just make sure you're not pulling it too hard. And then you can just tie this into a knot. So go to a stitch that's right near the tying off band. Bring it through and then tie it into a knot. And push down with your thumb when you're tightening the knot. And then you can just tuck this into the body. Try to go on top of the polyfill when you stick your hook in there. Okay. There he is so far. Now all we have left to do is this little section here with the that I use the clear for. So if you're going to use clear, you're going to need that now. Or if you're just using the white, then you already have your white ready. So let's do this part now. Alright, so we're going to just start off by adding a single row of single crochets, and I'm going to be adding those right by this red here. Hold on, let me tuck that little filling that's coming out of that little hole. And I'm going to be starting about halfway down the body. So you have your red here, where your red ends here. I'm actually going to go right here where this, right where I can go into this white. And I'm using clear, so I'm really sorry if you can't like see this very well, but you should be able to see it. So I've got my clear band, and I'm going to bring it through this stitch here. And then I'm putting it back up onto my hook, and now I'm going to start off with a slip knot. A loose one, of course. Now I just need to go up. So I'm just going to work my way up and around to the other side. So I'll grab another band, and I'll bring it through the stitch only up onto my hook, and then I'm going to slide that first band underneath, so just like we're doing regular single crochets, and just keep going till you get to the other side. Just be gentle when you're working with Loomigurumi. Can't like pull too hard or be too rough with it because you will end up with gaps because these are rubber bands, so you just have to be gentle. His ear's getting in the way. Let me just make sure. Okay, I think I'm going to go down one more time. Okie dokie. Now I gotta remember if I did the decrease right away. Okay, so I have laid my single crochets across. I'm kind of just showing you this way so you can see that they're semi-even on each side. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to be working back and forth in this chain here. But I'm going to be doing decreases on the ends. So I'm going to decrease here, and then when I get over here I'm going to do a decrease here, and this will make it so that his little, I have no idea what to call this, but so that it goes at an angle like this. You can make it cover his whole body if you want, but I kind of wanted it to kind of look like this, so that's why I did the decreases. So I have this band that's on my hook right now. I'm going to decrease the stitch right below this band here and this stitch here. So just go in through the front loop only of that first stitch, and then pick up the next front loop only of the next stitch. Just like that. You're going to take one band, bring it through these two loops here, so just like we're doing a regular decrease, except I'm getting stuck on something, and up onto your hook, and then just slide under. So yes, that's just a regular decrease. Now we can just do, well, I'm going to be doing double crochets now. So you take a band, bring it through the stitch only, up onto your hook, take another band and bring it through all the loops on your hook. Again, go through the next stitch, take a band, bring it through the stitch only and up onto your hook, and bring a band all the way through. So you're just going to keep doing that through the stitch only and through all. Stitch only. Sorry if you can't see it because his ear. Through all. I'm not sure if did I do that with this one? No, I didn't. I just did regular single crochets. Stitch only through all. Stitch all. Keep going until you get to the last two stitches because you want to stitch those two together. I'm still not sure if this is called a double crochet. Alright, so here's my last 2 stitches here. I want to stitch those together, so I will pick up the front loop and then the front loop of the one over here. If I can get it, okay. Then just bring your stitch through, your band through onto your hook, and then even though you have 4 bands, you can just still slide this first band under all of these, just like that. Okay, now we are going to decrease again. So now we're working back this way. So we're going to do a decrease here. And then just continue down with your through the stitch only and then through all. Deal. We're almost done. Yay. It's late and I'm ready for bed. Okay, just remember to leave 2 stitches left so you can decrease those. So I have 2 here. And I'm going to decrease. Now you can either decrease one more time or you can just leave it so that it just goes out that much and then just start doing your single crochet, or your crochets back and forth. Or you can decrease again, but I think I'm going to leave it like this. So I'm not going to do any more decreases. So now I'm just going to go straight into the double crochets or whatever they're called. So I'm just going to leave it, the decreases alone now. Yes, I think I like this little cape thing better. It's not a cape. I don't know what ghosts things are called. But I like this one better than this one because it's more not full, I guess, like as flowy as you can get with rubber bands. Yes, I'm going to do this last one here. No decreases in this row for me. And then I'm going to go back this way one more time. And that should be a good length for him. Of course, you guys can go as far as you want. Far out as you want. So all in all, I did my foundation row, and then I did 2 rows back and forth with the decreases, and then I did 2 rows without the decreases. So 4 altogether, plus the foundation one. Okay, last one here. So this one this is going to be my last one. So I'm going to bring this through all of the loops on my hook and tie that into a slip knot. And then I will just hide this in here. You probably can't see which stitches I'm going to go through, but these ones are tighter to the, instead of just going through like the loose stitches, the tighter ones that form the slip knot for the each stitch around, if you bring your band through those, it will stay in. There's less of a chance of it falling out. So I just kind of hide it along the edges. And then you can just give it a little stretch. And then, ta-da, he is all finished. He's so cute. Zero is my favorite Nightmare Before Christmas character. He's the underdog. Get it, underdog? Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed making Zero. I'm sure your Zeros came out adorable. He was pretty easy to make. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as I always say, please consider sharing these with me on either Instagram or Facebook, because I want to see them. And thank you guys so much for subscribing and liking and commenting and sharing. I appreciate it so much, and you guys make all of this, the work that goes into making YouTube videos, you guys all make it worth it. And I will see you guys for another tutorial soon. We have Jack to do. Next, I think we'll do Jack, yeah. And then the Halloween fox. I want to get the Halloween figures out of the way before we go into anything else, because it's almost Halloween. So I'll see you guys next time for the next tutorial, and you guys have a great day and a great weekend, because it is Saturday now, technically. Alright, see you guys later. Bye. Woof woof. Bye, guys. Ooh.